West Point women's team handball is one of the oldest women's club teams at the United States Military Academy and is the reigning national champion in women's collegiate handball. The team bears the motto, Grit, Legacy, Commitment, and prides itself on its professionalism, spirit, and work ethic. West Point women's team handball is an open, physical, living, and man-made system. The system, Women's Team Handball, is part of the larger meta-system of the Directorate of Cadet Activities, or DCA Club Sports. An example of a lateral system is the men's handball team. The women's handball team is made up of the subsystems of the black or varsity team and the gold developmental team. Each team consists of elements of players who play different positions on the court, such as wings, backs, and goalies. The main input of the system are the cadets who try out for the team at the beginning of each semester. The system is made up of many elements, with the main ones being the black and gold teams. Internal feedback in the system includes advice from the coaches and after-action reviews conducted after practices and games. External feedback in the system includes interactions with referees and other teams, criticism from the Department of Physical Education and Directorate of Cadet Activities, and input from athletic trainers. The output of the system is a winning record.
So you need to come out hard, all right, and play this like this is the championship game. So despite their warm-up not looking as optimal as it probably should.
We're going to kick
okay, let's kick their ass.
Oh, SE301, 1, 2, 3.
My name is Abby Toth. I'm co-captains of the women's team handball team. My other co-captain is Jenny Phillips, and I've been on the team for 4 years. As a captain of the handball team, I have a different perspective of the team than other cadets who aren't on club teams or even other girls on the team. For example, I have a lot kind of broader view of each of the positions of the girls on the team, so I know what everyone's doing, whereas everyone on the team might not know what each other are doing based on, like email and communication skills. And then also other members who are not on the team, just other cadets, have very little idea of what it takes to be part of a club team. They don't understand our limitations in like funding, time, travel, stuff like that.
This is a graphic depiction of how West Point women's team handball operates, with the ultimate outcomes represented by a winning record or a losing record. Because nobody on the team has ever played handball before, the retention rate of its players is one of the greatest factors on the record of the team. The coaches and captains have a large impact on the players by promoting commitment and winning spirit, which leads to high retention and therefore a winning record, but also in trying to prevent frustration and discouragement with a new sport that leads to high turnover rates and therefore a losing record. What are the risks in this system?
The risk that the handball team faces is our turnover rate. So basically every year we have slots open up and we normally have 26 positions on the team. And we take girls on and it's a risk because we don't know how long they're going to stay, how well they're going to adapt to a new sport, and basically if they'll enjoy it. Because handball is so new, you can only base tryouts on like pure athleticism, but sometimes the sport just isn't for everyone. Also, a lot of people have to quit to focus on their academics or their military grade, so there's a lot of other competing aspects that can take people away from the sport and loses all the time that we put into developing them into handball players and members of a team.
What are the ethical considerations in this system?
Our main ethical concern as the women's team handball team is being a positive representation of the academy at all times. So this includes traveling to and from practice, while at practice, but most importantly when we travel to and from away games. So we take flights or vans and buses, and we always need to make sure that we're being respectful, polite, wearing the right uniforms.
Hi, I'm Major Renee Ramsey. I'm an instructor in the Department of Social Sciences. I also serve as the OIC and coach of the women's team handball team.
What innovations and evolutions have affected this system?
So to be competitive and develop some changes that I made, first we have 26 authorizations, but team handball is a sport that's only played by 7 at a time. And because of the players are brand new to begin the sport, they're simply learning the rules and how to throw and basics of offense and defense. And so it made sense to me to split the team into two, a development team, gold, and a competitive varsity team, black. And there's movement between both teams, but we put the best core on the team for black, which allows gold to get playing time on the court.
Who are the stakeholders in this system?
Stakeholders involved in women's team handball. Some of the more obvious ones, of course, are the players. Not only their development as team handball players, and they start from scratch, so no one knows how to play team handball prior to coming to West Point. So the players and their cadet development in general, character development, physical development. The other coaches certainly are stakeholders. Department of Physical Education is probably one of the major stakeholders. Some of the unique ones for our team specifically, we have alumni that have graduated. This is one of the oldest women's teams at the academy since women have been admitted. We are even outdate some of the core squad teams. We're one of the first. It's a unique sport, so there's not that many people that play. So our old grads are currently still in the Army. Some of them have gotten out, and we communicate with them via our Facebook page, via the tournament, and other ways. The team handball community, once you're a member of it, some people continue to play. And so certainly they have some stake in how the team does, its success, and how it runs. That's a big part of our community. And lastly, maybe unique to the sport as well, we are tied in very closely with USA Team Handball. Team handball is an Olympic sport. And so we are one of the most well-established college programs, the most well-funded, and the most successful. So typically when we're trying to field a national team for Olympic qualifying, USA Team Handball looks to us to provide some of the athletes.
West Point women's team handball is a successful system. This is not only due to their winning record and status as national collegiate champions, but also due to the success in the team's ultimate goal of producing leaders of character through sport.
Our team values our legacy, grit, and commitment. And we try to articulate that of like what that actually looks like on the court, to expect it from each other. And we're constantly sort of updating, figuring out better ways to execute that. So it's really just a constant communication of how to accomplish those goals in a more direct, a more intentional way. They certainly happen on their own. I think the more intentional you are about the lessons that you're learning really goes toward that development. The last piece of it, of course, is the other part of the system that we instituted, which goes back to the stakeholders and the alumni. We're communicating this with the alumni as well, and part of the legacy is to honor some of our fallen former players. So the first female killed in combat, First Lieutenant Laura Walker, was a co-captain of mine back when we were firsties. And so part of that effort to instill this team with the idea of legacy and the importance of those that came before them is to share Laura's story and share it on the Facebook page with the alumni and try to tie in both the handball community, people that aren't in the Army, with Laura's story, with the story of people serving in the Army, and then handball and sort of what it does as a sport more broadly for the development of its players.